I think we're recording. We're recording. Okay. Hey everyone, welcome to the Team Sweat Your Heart Out weekly team call. Carolyn's on a plane right now, so I'm subbing in for her. And I'm really excited because one of the coaches on my team is the guest speaker tonight. There aren't any announcements. She didn't do a leaderboard, so I don't have any shout outs or roll calls or anything like that to do. The only thing that she wanted me to remind everybody of is the accountability calls tomorrow. If you're signed up with her, just don't forget about your call. But we're going to kind of get right into this. So I'll give her a little introduction, and then I'm just going to hand it over to her. On our call tonight is Chelsea. We went to the same high school. She's a year or two younger than me. I'm not even sure.
Two, I think. Two.
We didn't really know each other, but she reached out to me. Actually, I think I reached out to her. I don't remember because I saw her doing something. Anyway, so she was in like 3 or 4 challenge groups before she decided to be a coach and told me no about 100 times. And now she's like kicking booty. She's a business starter. She earned Success Starters, which for those of you that don't know, that means that she hit Success Club consecutively her very first 3 months as a coach. She earned a free ticket to go to Summit. She can't go to Summit because it's the same weekend as her wedding, which sucks, but that's okay because she'll be there next year. She's an Emerald coach on our team. She's almost double Emerald. She has 3 coaches with her right now, and I'm just super proud of her. She literally just started. Her 3rd month was in February. So what? December, January, and February. And
yes, signed up November, end of November.
Right, so December was your 1st month. And blowing me out of the water. She surpasses me pretty much every month in Success Club, and that's everything that I want, because like seeing other people succeed is just what puts a smile on my face, because I know that this is possible, and I'm really proud of her for doing everything that she's done so far. So she's going to talk to you about pretty much what she's been doing for the last 3 months in her business, what she's been doing the last 6 months as her fitness, in the last year of her transformation, and I'm going to shut up and mute myself. So go ahead and start whenever you're ready.
All right. Well, I guess I can start from like the way beginning. I started to kick my ass in gear in November of 2015, and this is kind of like a backstory to why I am a coach now. And Christy's right. Like, I told her no about 5 million bajillion times. And I actually, not that I regret it, because now I can relate more to people who have the same issues that I do with, money and making excuses. And it's like, because I literally am the excuse queen. I mean, if there's an excuse, well, I'm not now, but if there's an excuse, I would find it. And you can ask anybody who knows me, or knew me rather. That's just what I did. I made excuses for everything. I guess let's start off with last year, 2015. It was probably not 2016, 2015 of November is when I really started to like have serious issues. And that was with work, with myself. Oh, I hope I didn't just hit that button. Sorry. I'm like hitting wrong buttons over here. I had probably one of the worst years with school. I'm an art teacher during the day, and actually work 3 jobs. I'm an art teacher during the day. Then I do paint and sips after work, not most days, some days, it depends on the month, and then on the weekends. And then I also tutor a girl after school some days as well. So I'm pretty busy, as well as having a fiance, having my own house, having to clean up after everybody, like myself, my cat. She makes a mess, believe it or not. So I am busy. I'm constantly going, and it's my 3rd year with teaching. So it's like we have everything else going on with the teaching aspect of it, which I'm not going to get into that, but it's not like your average, I'm just going to, okay, 8 to 4 o'clock, my job's done. That's not how it works, especially with teaching. So it's busy. And that's part of the reason why I was so hesitant to become a coach, because I'm like, there's no freaking way I'm going to be able to do this. None. But my biggest thing was the money. I've been very frugal with my money. I watch my spending, and I mean, I have a wedding coming up. Like, I can't be below, and I just spent $12,000 on a kitchen. So I did not have the money at all. I started with size, and I think that's how Christy started talking to me, because I was doing size on my own, and she saw that, and she messaged me, and she's like, hey, you're already doing this. Why not do it in a group? It would make more sense. And I'm like, okay, well, that makes sense. So anyway, let's go back. Sorry, I talk. I'm all over the place usually. So what really kicked my butt into gear was last year at school. I was unhappy. I hated the kids. I had severe anxiety, severe depression. It was so bad to the point where I was drinking a huge bottle of pink Moscato, like not like a regular one. I'm talking like the big ones by myself a night before, like after school, on a school night. I'd probably go through maybe 1 or 2 of those a week. And that's when I kind of knew, like, I have some serious issues I need to deal with. It's not a joke anymore. This is horrible for me. I feel depressed. And it was just like a huge circle. Like I just dove deeper into depression. My anxiety worsened. I'm like, something has to happen. What really, I'm sorry, I'm listening to it's my fiance who's there. What really like set me off, and this is kind of private, was that somebody said that they weren't as attracted to me anymore as they used to be. And that really hit home with me. And I just couldn't do this anymore. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. My life's falling apart. My teaching's falling apart. I didn't feel my passion anymore. I didn't feel good about myself anymore. I didn't even want to be seen anymore. Sorry, my fiance just went outside. I'm like, who's in my backyard? Freaking out a little bit. So basically that's what happened is Ryan was like, hey, listen, like we can't do this anymore, because I'm like, it's not working. And he didn't mean to say it to hurt me. He said it to help me, and I'm thankful for that, because as soon as he said that, I snapped out of it. And I'm like, I need to do this. I need to do this. I don't feel pretty anymore. And no matter how many people told me, oh, you're so beautiful, you're so beautiful, I'm like, yeah, okay. You don't see me with my clothes off. Yeah, it's not cute. So from that moment on, I was just like, I'm serious about this. And from November to July, I only lost 20 pounds. That's it. I tried. I ate correct. I went to the gym almost every day. This summer I had off, so I was in the gym every single day. Like, it wasn't for 4 hours. Like, it wasn't like okay, I'm just going to go today for an hour or a half hour and run for a little bit. Like, I was in there for a minimum of 2 hours, like constantly every day, because I had nothing else to do. It was during the summer, and I didn't want to spend money, because that's what happens when you're a teacher. You have nothing else to do, so you spend money all the time. Because you're still getting paid. But I didn't do anything. I didn't lose. I lost 20 pounds. So I started doing size when I got home from Vegas in August. And we did a kitchen remodel. We were in the middle of redoing our whole basement. Like, it wasn't cheap. And my mom gave me size because she's like, you'll really like this. It's a dancing program. And I was like, okay, I'll try it. Well, I fell in love with it. It's the first program that I ever completed all the way through. I did T25 like way before, years ago. I was a coach at one point, and I'm like, this is not something for me. This is way before the challenge groups ever happened. And I was just like, what is this? What is this? This is crap. Nobody's going to sit here. I lived in my apartment alone. Nobody's going to sit here and tell me if I'm going to do it or not. So why am I going to do it? So I didn't. So I was a coach before, but that didn't mean anything to me. And I quit after like 4 days, not even. And now those coaches that I was under, because I wasn't under Christy, I was under 2 other coaches, and they're doing amazing in their business as well. And they're both husband and wife, full-time Beachbody coaches. And they're like high up there. It's not like they're just now starting out. Like, they've been full-time Beachbody coaches for, I think, 2 years now. So it's possible, and they raise their family, and it's amazing. But my very first program I did was Hip Hop Abs, and I love Hip Hop Abs. Did you just get hair in your mouth or something? What the heck was that, Christy? But anyway, so I did Hip Hop Abs yesterday, actually. Okay, so fast forward August of this year, 2016, Christy saw me doing size. She reached out to me, and I was like so hesitant. I'm like, I can't do this. I just spent all this money on this, and I can't do it. And I joined a challenge group, and I talked to Ryan about it, and Ryan's like, why don't you just do it? I mean, what do you have to lose? It's $140, $150. He's like, you spend that on stupider stuff. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. I can go shopping and drop that and not think twice about it, but why am I not investing this in my health? And I've been so serious about it, and I haven't gotten really that many results from anything else, so why not try it? If it doesn't work for a month, then I quit and I'm done. No pressure. So I did it, and I lost 10 pounds and 10 inches in the first month, when it took me a half a year to do 10 pounds in the gym. So I'm like, okay, I'm on a roll here, so I'm going to continue. And I was going to cancel my Shaco before, but I'm like, shit, it already shipped out. It already was taken out of my account. Looks like I'm doing it another month. So I went for it. And then after the second month, I'm like, wow, this is great, because I lost another, what was that, August, September, October. What program did I do? I think I did Country Heat, and then I switched it to another one halfway through because Country Heat didn't give me enough sweat or something. So I switched it, and I was like, yep, this is it. And I haven't looked back since. So now it is, what is it, March? I'm down 45 pounds since September, and I am the happiest and the healthiest I've ever been in my entire life. And I'm the lowest weight I've ever been in my entire life, even through high school. High school, my lowest, I think, was 135, and I'm down to 132. So when I became a coach in November, I was kind of freaking out about that too. I'm a freak out. I have anxiety and I have depression, so that's natural. I was also diagnosed with, and this was another thing that kind of pushed my ass into gear, was in 2015, I was diagnosed with actual anxiety, depression, hypothyroidism, and PCOS. So if you don't know what any of those is, hypothyroidism was with my thyroid, and basically I can't remember if it's I produce too much insulin, which means it gives you that spare tire around your stomach. And if you see my before and after pictures, which I can share with you here in a second, if you haven't seen them, it causes anxiety and depression, which that was the root of all evil. And I went to the doctor multiple times for that, and nothing was ever found, because they did ultrasound, but it was in my blood work. So thankfully I found that, because I was heading down a horrible path, and I started taking medicine for it, which has helped. And then PCOS is polycystic ovaries, which also causes anxiety and depression. And so I was getting hit double time, and it was making me gain weight. And I have testosterone, I get my neck gets hairy, just random stuff happens. And it's why is this happening? But, and there's a chance that very slim chance, if you look up stuff, it says that there's a very slim chance that I could have kids, which I want to have kids. And I'm going to get emotional. But I want to have kids. That's something that Ryan and I have talked about. And that's another reason why I have my whys for why I became a coach, is because I want to be healthy before, during, and after. And I could never imagine being pregnant at 200 pounds and then gaining more weight and not being able to lose it. And then having to deal with some of the things that I see every day with parents, and not being able to hang out with their kids that I've seen my friends deal with their parents. And luckily I've been, lucky enough to have parents that not are physically fit, but, they're not as bad as they could be. And both of my parents try to lose weight. So having a strong why is really what pushes me to be a good coach, because I want to pull that stuff out of other people. I want to see their whys. I want to push them, which is part of the reason why I'm a teacher, which I guess is why it works out so well as a coach. Because I push my kids in school to be the best they can be, because there's so much potential in so many people that they don't ever get to see. For example, myself, I never could have imagined being and doing the things that I do now. I have like abs. What? Like, it's just crazy from at-home workouts. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. And, you know, lived my life a little bit heavier. Mostly after college, it really skyrocketed. But, you know, I've always looked at girls and we're always like, oh, they're so thin. Like, I always had that jealousy. And I don't have that anymore. And I don't have that anymore. I don't look at girls and I'm like, oh, they're so thin, because I feel good about myself. And it's all about self-esteem. And I try to pull that out of my girls, my coaches, my challengers. And I make all of my girls, even like when I'm first signing girls up or people up, I always ask, you know, what are your goals? Before I even say anything to them, what are your goals? What are you trying to accomplish? If I see somebody post on Facebook about the fact that like, oh, I'm trying to lose weight, well, I'll message them right away. And before I even say anything about Beachbody, I'm just like, hey, I saw you're trying to lose weight. I'm just curious, what are your goals? What are you trying to do? Like, how much weight are you trying to lose? Well, why are you doing this? What's the reason? And I think that's the biggest thing, is getting down to that root of it, because when you go to try to talk to people about joining a group, you know, and they give you some excuse like, oh, well, I can't afford it. You can't afford your health. You can't afford to watch your kids grow up. Well, then what do you mean you can't afford it? It just doesn't make sense to me. You're telling me why you're doing something. You're doing it for your kids. You're doing it so you can have a healthy relationship. But yet you can't spend $200 to get your ass in gear to make those things possible. But you'll go and spend $4 a day at Dunkin', or you'll go and spend $4 here and there for stupid stuff. That doesn't make sense to me. So I use their why against them, I guess, to a way. But that's just because it worked. I mean, not that it worked on me, because it kind of did, but I'm not in it. I'm not in this business. I never signed up to do this because I'm in it for money. That's not why I do this. I'm a coach because I like to see people succeed. I like to be that person that lifts other people up. And I've done that for so many people, and it's in 4 months, 5 months. I mean, I've had girls randomly messaging me saying, I love watching your journey and I love seeing you succeed. And that's great, because I have more friends today than I did 6 months ago. And they're actual friends, like genuine friends that I can text and call and say, hey, listen, I'm having a shitty day. I ate a shit ton of carbs today. I hate my life. And they will genuinely care. Maybe not so much about the carbs. They'll be like, listen, you need to chill out on the carbs. But regardless, it's still the point. You know, like I have girls that I didn't like in high school that are messaging me saying blah, blah, blah. Like, and I'm like, you never paid me 2 minutes in high school and you're messaging me. But that's okay. I'm okay with that, because I've made so many new friends and I've seen so many different sides of people that I never would have seen if it wasn't for this business. And I've made so many different connections with people that I never would have made if it wasn't for this business. I'm a hermit. I stay in my house, which I'm not like that anymore. I don't do that anymore. I'm like trying to get out as much as possible. But I mean, I have more plans today to do stuff with people than I have probably since I graduated college 3 years ago. And it's great. I love it. And it makes me talk to people. It makes me get out of my comfort zone, because if it wasn't for that, like I would sit here and Ryan, my fiance, would be like, Chelsea, you need to go make friends, which he's done before because you're annoying me. You know, but that's the biggest thing I think with coaching that, I mean, I've benefited from, is just making relationships that I think that I never would have if it wasn't for this opportunity. And I'm not even about like selling. So yeah, I want to hit Success Club every month. And I just do that by being myself and being genuine and talking to people and trying to crush their excuses, because I try to throw them back in their face, because that was me. I mean, that was me. So I feel like I'm okay to do that, because like I said, I am the queen of excuses. Anything that you could find to bitch about, complain about, be lazy about on the couch, that was me. I'd sleep, like I'd take probably 2 naps after work. Who takes 2 naps? Like that right there tells you have too much time on your hands, but yet I didn't even have time. But I had time to nap. So, you know, or the same thing, like I watch posts. So if they complain that they're fat online and then I message them and they do nothing about it, like that drives me freaking nuts, because that was me. And I'm like, no, stop. You know, but I think also a lot of the biggest thing also that's helped me is professional development. And if you're not reading professional development, I highly, highly suggest you do. And Christy sent me this when I first signed up as a coach. And I didn't get to read it. I mean, I didn't read it right away because I saw one online that I really wanted to read. And it's called The Compound Effect. And I love this book, but The Compound Effect still has my heart. And I don't know if it's because it was my first book or what. I mean, this one's a great book and I read all of it. And I have highlight stuff all in here and it's amazing. But The Compound Effect talks about habits. It talks about, and it's basically like a big, just shut up and do it kind of thing. It's exactly what I needed. So if it's not on your reading list, which I have a huge reading list of professional development books that I want to read. So my goal is, which I have my vision board here, which I don't know if I have my vision board sitting right here. So these are all my goals. And I also have it on my phone, and that's really important. And I share that with all my girls as well. And I have crossed things off already for 2017. I've hit my goal weight. I'm 3 out of 5 shirts earned. That 5 shirts for the whole year is my minimum. I attended a Super Saturday, which was one of mine. And if you haven't attended one of those, or you're not planning on attending one, you need to. I attended mine on January 6th. And it was the funnest thing ever. I think it's partially because Cam was awesome, but you know, whatever. But, you know, it was so fun. I've got Emerald rank. My next step is Diamond. I'm trying to skip over Ruby and just go straight to Diamond. I'm planning on running my first marathon this year. And like these things I'm a goal setter. That's what I do. I've always had goals, big goals, and I've hit pretty much every one of them. You know, I set out to be an art teacher. I became that. And now I'm like, okay, now what? Goals are a huge thing for me. And having that vision board is something that I literally look at every day. And I think of every day, like, why am I doing this? Why am I working out every day? And right now, even though I have my wedding in July, that's not even the biggest thing on my radar right now. My biggest thing on my radar is being healthy with the pregnancy. Like that is the biggest thing on my mind that pushes me every day. Is I don't want to be another statistic of an overweight mom not being able to run around with her kids and being tired. And I hate that. I don't even like the thought of it. But things that I would recommend: professional development, at least 5 minutes every day, at least. Like I was just reading mine before the call. I'm reading this one right now. It's called Big Magic. I'm okay with it right now. I'm not like crazy about it. I'm almost halfway through, and it's just about creative living. And I figured since I'm an art teacher, it might help me a little bit, but this is a writer writing a book. It's all right. I'll let you know how it goes when I'm done with it, but it's okay. And then I have another one. I got them all lined up. I have this one here, and I get them from I got these 2 from the library. So I'm kind of on a time constraint with them. So I'm like trying to, hey, see, and you didn't even tell me about this one. So I got this one from the library though. So I got till the end of March to read them both, and I plan on it. That's another one of my goals for the year, is to read at least 1 book a month. And if I have time to work 3 jobs and then read on top of that and do everything else, you do too. Because I'm literally going nuts. but it's cool. We got it all under control. So, I mean, let me show you. Let me see if I can share my screen, and I'll show you. Has anybody not seen any of my transformation pictures yet? I don't know if everybody's friends with me on Facebook or not. Okay, well, I'll share my screen and show you the difference between a year. If I can figure out how to do it. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Okay. Oh, here we go. I can just share that. Can you guys see that? Let me see that. Can you see that?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's my transformation in a year. The one on the left was at a wedding in November, that was August of 2015. And then the one on the right is from I'm sorry, I'm like dead right now. February 14th, Valentine's Day of this year. So a couple weeks ago, about a month ago almost. So 60 pounds I've lost in total. It's actually probably 65 now, almost. So, I mean, it's worth it. Everything's worth it. Coaching's worth it. I get frustrated because this was supposed to be like a discount thing for me. And then I think as soon as I signed up, I'm like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to go all for it and screw it. I'm just going to do it. So I did it, and I'm like, oh, well, I'll take my time on this. And no, it didn't work that way. I became a discount coach in November. I had my first challenge group in December. Actually, like within a week, I think, wasn't it? I think it started December 6th, and then I became a coach November 24th, and I had my first group on December 6th. So, I mean, it's not like I think I told you that, Christy, where I was like, if I do this, I'm going to hit the ground running. But I didn't realize I was going to be sprinting. That's kind of what happened. But the biggest thing I can say is always share your story. Share your story all the time. If that's not one thing, like that's the biggest thing that's, I think, helped me is most of my people are from people I've known in the past. I think more of the people that I talk to that I don't know are more hesitant because they don't know me personally. And I know, because I was always about that type of person that would see this stuff and I'm like, okay, that's a scam, that's a gimmick. But yet, because people know me, they're like, oh, I went to high school with her. It's not fake pictures. I see it, because that was my biggest thing. I'm like, these are fake pictures, especially with Beachbody, because you'd see all those things on the TV and you're like, oh, they probably did. No. So, and word of mouth is a huge thing. Like first of all, I had a couple weeks ago, maybe about a week ago, somebody on my Facebook has watched my progress, never talked to her, never reached out to her. She's super thin. So like I didn't think about it. I'm like, okay, she's cool, she's fine. And so I never would have reached out to her. But then she saw somebody else's status that I wasn't friends with. And she commented and tagged me on this girl's status saying, I think Chelsea Lynn can help you out. Well, she tagged my name. And then this girl messaged me and was like, hey, I need to lose 30 pounds. What can you do for me? And I'm like, what? I wasn't expecting that. But it was really cool. She didn't end up doing anything yet because she's like complaining about the money thing. So whatever. But she'll come around. They always do. But I just got to keep working her. Got to keep, like Christy did with me. I just nag. I don't nag. You didn't nag me. But I was totally like, I'm watching her post all this stuff. I want to do it. I don't want to do it. So she'll see. She'll get it because now I'm friends with her on Facebook. So now she gets to see all my stuff. But word of mouth is a huge thing. I have girls in my group that have contacted me, that have people contacting me because they're like, oh, well, I'm in this group and it's working for me. So here's my brother's girlfriend that wants to do this, so word of mouth is a huge thing. And then I always kind of throw in, like when I'm talking to somebody, like, oh, well, I lost 45 pounds and blah, blah, blah. And then they're like, how did you do it? And I'm like, let me tell you. So I always I'm not like braggy about it, but if something happens, I'm like, man, my pants are too loose, like just kind of throwing it in there. and it usually works. But posting is the biggest thing. Posting constantly about what you're eating, about what you're doing, about your transformation. Christy doesn't post enough transformation pictures, and I just told her the other day, I'm like, you posted a transformation because she's always telling us to do it. But I think that's the biggest thing. And even if you're not where you want to be, just showing like the growth from where you were to, because people are visual. I mean, and I know as being a teacher, the learning style is visual for the predominance of our culture, especially since we have social media, we have everything. And if they can't see it, they won't believe it. And we're the only culture that will believe a picture over like something else. If there's another culture, and this is just a little FYI as being an art person that I have to tell you about, other cultures do not believe pictures. Like if you send them a picture and say, oh, here you go, check this out, Bigfoot exists because I have a picture of it, they're going to look at you like crazy. But yet our culture, you show them a picture of Bigfoot, they're going to be like, oh my God, Bigfoot exists. So if you have pictures of your transformation, they will believe it. Obviously, I'm hoping you're not photoshopping your pictures, but you never know. So sharing your story, sharing your pictures, sharing that I have anxiety and depression. I've been able to talk to more people, and I had somebody on and tell me when, like, I don't know how long I am, and I can go on forever because I'm a talker, if you haven't been able to tell. I had my mom call me one day, and of course it was like the worst week ever, but she called me one day and said, well, so-and-so was telling me that your posts are just so long and blah, blah, blah. Why does she make her post so long? And I got really mad, like really mad. And I'm sure some of you might have seen my video. I actually started crying. I did a live video because I was so upset about it. And I'm like, listen, if you don't like my post, delete me, because I'm obviously not talking to you. And I talked about how I had anxiety and how I had depression. And my mom was like, well, I don't understand why you have to put all that stuff out there. Why is it anybody's business? And the thing is, it's not something that I'm ashamed of. I'm not ashamed that I have anxiety and depression. I'm not ashamed that I have hypothyroidism. I'm not ashamed that I struggled for the past year of my life with my work, with myself, with my self-confidence, with my relationships. Like, I'm not ashamed of that, because it has made me so much stronger and so much relatable to people than anything else would have. And I've taken those lessons and those issues that I have, and I've channeled them into something good. And I think it's the biggest blessing in disguise that I think I've ever been able to have. And, even though I deal with that stuff, it's still, it makes me relatable. And I've had so many people message me and say, hey, listen, I struggle with the same things, and here's how you can make it work. And here's how, things that you should avoid. And that's helped me, but then I can also help the other person that messages me. So, I've had people message me about PCOS. I have a girl in my group right now that has PCOS, but she's just had her first kid. And she's told me what she's struggled with and what are some natural ways that she's been able to conceive and all kinds of other things. So it's like a learning process for everybody. But don't ever be ashamed of anything that you've ever gone through, or afraid, or feel reserved about, or because that's who makes you who you are. And that's what makes you a good coach. And obviously I think we're all emeralds. If we're not all emeralds here, then you can be an emerald. It's super easy. But I think that's a big thing too. Like, don't ever be ashamed of things that you struggle with. If it's depression, or if it's anxiety, or if it's, I don't even know, whatever else you may have. Because that's what makes you unique, and that's what makes you the type of person that other people can relate to. So, I think that's pretty much all I have, really. I don't know what else to say. Anybody have any questions for me?
That's what I was just about to ask. If anybody had any questions, or I don't know if you can relate to this. My dog's going nuts because she wants to go outside. I'm going to be her. But yeah, that was amazing. I knew you would do amazing.
Thanks.
Nobody. All right. Well, I'm going to wrap up the recording. there is no Diamond Mine call tonight. That's every other week, so that's actually next Wednesday.
Poop, I'm gonna miss it again.
I actually won't be on it either. I'll be at PNC Park for a dinner. But it is every other Wednesday, so it'll be next Wednesday, the 22nd, or the 15th, not the 22nd. If you don't know what that is, it's pretty much a group that the leaders on Carolyn's team has put together, and you have to be Emerald to be in the group, and it's basically just a group of the Diamonds presenting topics, and you get to pick a topic that you want to hear about or learn about, and we just try to help you see how easy Diamond can be and the potential that you have for your business when you get to that point. And it's just a really awesome group. I wish we would have started it earlier, because having that training and having the access to the leaders on the team and their minds, and you get to pick their brains, is like incredible. So you guys are extremely lucky, and we are all extremely spoiled for how much stuff that we have access to in the Google Drive and on the new website. So utilize everything. Don't reinvent the wheel. This isn't my call. I'm not going to go on a rant, but like, we're extremely spoiled and extremely, it's just great. So I'm going to wrap it up. If you guys have any questions, I guess we have to take a picture. She always does that. Well, it's usually whenever there's do you have any homework? No, we don't. We'll take a picture and I'll post it and we'll see what she says.
You can post a picture and say that it's for International Women's Day. We're all hanging out. Whatever.
Well, yes. Well, it's in the team page, but we can still say that.
Whatever. It's the same thing.
Ready? 1, 2. Okay. Mine doesn't make a clicky noise like hers does. But I'm going to stop recording.